All right.
Put a shine on these for me, there's a good fellow.
For the tournament, huh?
Naturally.
Well, toss them in there with the rest of the things.
Good.
What now?
All these weapons with M on them.
They've been piling up there ever since yesterday. Every hour, some knight comes prancing in with a new lot. I've only got one pair of hands.
Whose are they?
They belong to King Marhaus of Mercia.
Are his men entering the tournament?
Fishing tournament, more likely. Do you know what they want me to do with these?
Oh, sharpen them, of course.
Not a bit. Blunt them, that's what the order is. Blunt the swords, put tips on the spears, and guards on the axes.
Strange order for a fire eater like Marhaus.
That's what I said, Sir Lancelot, to the knight that came in. That's a strange order, I says. And him, he smiles all sweet as honey. That's the way King Marhaus wants it, he says. The king doesn't want to run the risk of hurting any of Arthur's men in the tournament.
The first time I've heard him be so solicitous for other people's welfare.
That's what I said. Why should King Marhaus care whether or not his men scratch us up a bit?
Well, what did the knight say?
Well, now, he showed a bit more teeth in that sweet smile of his and said, why, our men wouldn't hurt your men for all the world. Oh, it was sickening.
I don't like it.
You think I do? It takes more work to blunt them things than to sharpen them. I'll be at it all night.
Isn't it lovely, Lancelot? One of Sir Kay's pages brought it from Ravenna.
And now all the ladies of the court will be making pilgrimages to Ravenna by nightfall. But you, my dear, will be the first and the loveliest.
Thank you, my lord. And you, Sir Knight, remain as silent as the tomb.
The cloak is dazzling, my lady, and so are you. But I am here on more important business.
What can be more important than to pay homage to your queen?
In a new cloak of pure velvet from Ravenna.
My lord, will you consider the question of these weapons?
Lancelot, I admire your zeal and your sense of caution, but you seem bent on making something out of nothing.
Don't you think it's strange when a man like King Marhaus orders all his weapons to be blunted?
It's an admirable and humane gesture. He wants only the sport of the tournament, not the bloodshed.
And Marhaus strikes you as a singularly humane king.
I've no reason to believe otherwise.
Yet it's well known he opposes your every move towards unifying Britain and establishing a peaceful order here.
He has a right to his convictions, just as I have a right to mine.
Very well, then. Why does he make such a point of sending his weapons to our Smith? Why doesn't he use his own armorer?
Because it is common knowledge that Firth is the best smith in the West Country. Besides, King Marhaus has pitched his tents just outside Camelot for the tournament. Now, why should he send his weapons all the way back to Mercia?
My lord, are you sure you're right to dismiss all this so lightly?
I refuse to listen to slander about a friendly king.
My lady, I know of Marhaus and his ambition. Already he controls all the land east to the fens and west to the marches. He'll not be content until his kingdom extends to all lands on the Channel, including Camelot.
And have you proof of this?
Marhaus has scarcely been secretive about his ambitions.
You are accusing a man without actual evidence, condemning a king before he's proven guilty. There are no facts to support your claim, Sir Lancelot. And until you can produce facts, I'm not interested in petty gossip.
Gossip?
If we choose to take notice of it, every monarchy is a seat of conspiracy. Plots and attempts to depose the reigning sovereign. But I have elected to recognize the essential goodness in man, not the villainy. The example we set here at Camelot has repercussions throughout the land. How can we ever hope to convince other kingdoms and persuade them to share our beliefs when we become nothing more than suspicious, evil-thinking, name-calling churls?
Is that what you think of me?
That is how you are acting.
You wrong me, my lord.
And you wrong yourself, stooping to the low level of spreading malicious talk about our guest.
Marhaus is
our guest. King Marhaus enters the gates of Camelot in a friendly tournament as our guest. Remember that.
I have a great deal more to remember.
Your manners, for one thing.
And the obtuseness of my king, for another.
Lancelot, you go too far.
And you, my lord, go not far enough.
Sir Knight, until your temper cools and your reason returns, I suggest you leave.
Your chambers or Camelot?
Whichever brings you to your senses more quickly.
Very well, my lord.
Sir Lancelot!
Let him go.
Is there any foundation to his claims against Marhaus, do you suppose?
I can't afford to deal in supposes, my dear. This is a matter of principle. Why do you stop?
My lord.
What a lovely country. Marhaus?
Yes, Angela.
I said what a lovely kingdom Camelot is.
It is indeed, my dear.
I wish you could stay here longer. Even after the tourneys?
Perhaps we shall, Angela.
What do you mean by that?
If Arthur should ask us, naturally.
I sometimes have a feeling that I don't know exactly what you're thinking.
Oh, my charming little sister. That would be fatal.
Are your thoughts so wicked?
Indubitably.
As if I could believe that.
My lord.
Well?
In the valley there, our scout reports a fire.
A fire?
Only a knight cooking his meal.
One of our men?
No. One of Arthur's. Sir Lancelot.
There's a man we'd do well to detain.
Shall I detain him?
By all means.
Get up. Give me his hands. All right, bring him along.
Sire, that same traveling troubadour is here again.
Send him away. I'm not in the mood for music today.
Oh, I am. He amuses me.
Very well, my dear.
My lord, my lady.
One short song now. We haven't all day.
In your camp there is a plot to imprison Lancelot.
What's he saying?
In yon tent, all chained and bound, Lancelot is surely found.
Enough! You bore me.
Lancelot? From Arthur's court?
Guard, take him away. Your harp is out of tune.
There was nothing out of tune about the song.
A matter of opinion, my dear.
I wish to see for myself.
See what, Angela?
I don't quite know yet. Who is this knight?
Lancelot of the Lake, my lady.
What does this mean?
Milady, I shall explain.
Why has Sir Lancelot been put in prison?
Yes, why indeed?
But, sir,
I send you after a common poacher who's been stealing our sheep, and you return with King Arthur's favorite knight.
Well, but I was simply...
No buts about it. Release him at once. 1,000 apologies, Sir Lancelot, for the stupidity of this night. I trust you'll forgive this blunder. Perhaps I can persuade you to stay and dine with us tonight.
It would please me if you would.
Then it would please me, too.
My lord, I don't understand.
Our land is divided into many kingdoms, each one ruled over by ambitious men. It's sheer wishful thinking on Arthur's part to imagine that he can even lull them into believing in a unity. I, for one, am realistic. The overpowering factor of our day is land, power. The more land you have, the more power.
But acquiring new lands means constant warfare.
Only till our individual ambitions are satisfied.
And who's to decide that?
He who holds the reins of power.
I disagree with everything you've said.
Your privilege. You see, here, unlike Arthur's court, a difference of opinion does not constitute a major breach.
And you know I quarreled with Arthur. Do you know why?
I have ears.
And yet you entertain me as your guest?
What better way to prove how unfounded are your suspicions of me? Be at ease, Sir Lancelot. Enjoy yourself here. And tomorrow, perhaps you'd care to join my knights at practice jousts.
Yes, of course.
Sir Lancelot, why do you distrust my brother?
His opposition to King Arthur is well known.
But surely two kings can differ in opinion and yet remain friendly.
Even when one of them is as ambitious for land as your brother.
He may be ambitious, but he would never stoop to treachery.
He is your brother, Lady Angela.
I have known him longer than you, Sir Lancelot.
But better?
You are a strangely discourteous guest, sir.
Sir Lancelot. Well, you going to join us?
By all means, but I have no shield. I left it at your armorer's.
There are plenty in our store tent. Help yourself.
Oh, Sir Knight. Give us the password.
King Marhaus said I could have one of his shields.
Oh, in that case, help yourself. Anything you want on that side of the tent, but don't come over this side.
Why?
Because I've got cider here. It's made from Camelot apples. It's fermented overnight. It's better than all the ale in Mercia.
Well, let's have a taste, then.
Keep your distance.
Come on, if it's as good as you say, I'll get you some more.
You will.
Yes. I know all the Camelot orchards well.
You do? All right, then. Just a swallow, mind.
But, sire, why didn't you let me kill him that first day?
I don't want to commit any act that Arthur might consider unfriendly.
Well, I'd feel much happier if we were rid of him. He's been spying around here too long.
It'll do him little good once he's dead.
Dead? But you said that we should...
I said I wanted him to come to no harm here intentionally. It is quite possible for him to suffer, shall we say, a fatal accident on the practice field.
Aha.
Go and instruct the others accordingly.
With pleasure. Lancelot shall meet his death.
Are you sure of this?
One can never be sure, my lady.
I can't believe it. I won't.
Have I ever sung a false song, my lady?
No.
Then go, quickly.
outrage stopped immediately.
It's only practice, my dear, all in fun.
But Lancelot may be killed.
You alarm yourself unduly, Angela.
Call an end to this at once.
Very well, my dear. Enough! Even in practice, my men have a tendency to be overzealous. I'm sorry, Sir Lancelot.
I have seen you control your knights when you wished to do so.
Had there been any real danger, my dear, I'd have put a stop to it at once. After all, I was watching. Sir Grint.
You saved my life, Lady Angela.
My brother places too much trust in his knights. They sometimes get out of hand.
Perhaps that's what he intends.
What are you suggesting?
He meant to kill me, just as he means to kill Arthur.
How can you think such a thing?
If you weren't so blinded by love for your brother, you'd...
Lancelot.
I must warn Arthur.
There's nothing to warn him against.
Look, if you won't believe me, perhaps you'll believe your own eyes. Over there in that store tent, there are crates of weapons that your brother and his men intend to use in today's tourneys. Each of them is as sharp as a tiger's tooth. And those are the weapons they will use.
I can't believe it.
Then go and look for yourself.
I shall. Take that lantern to my tent.
I can't leave my post, my lady.
Do you question my orders? Do as I say.
Sire.
What worries you now, Merlin?
Lancelot is not here.
Well, naturally not. He went off in a temper.
Evil has befallen him.
That's not what I hear. They tell me he now stands at the right hand of Marhaus.
Of the Princess Angela, perhaps. But King Marhaus has threatened his life more than once already. Otherwise, Lancelot would be here in the tourneys today.
Lancelot has little interest in tourneys anymore. Or in Camelot.
Only because he suspects Marhaus of treachery.
You too. I shall put an end to this malicious gossip about Marhaus once and for all. Sir Claude. Go to King Marhaus with a personal message from me and say that in absolute evidence of goodwill, I myself will meet him in friendly combat today.
My lord, you and Marhaus?
A mere sporting competition. Our swords are blunted.
Yours is, but his...
You saw for yourself in our own armorer's tent. Every sword blunt as a paddle.
I don't know.
But I do. Ah, so you've returned.
Sire, I hear you're to enter the tourney against Marhaus today. I beg you not to.
Are you starting that nonsense again?
Sire, you must not fight today. This time I bring absolute proof of Marhaus's treachery.
Lancelot, don't waste my time.
Lady Angela. Hear ye! Hear ye! Hear ye!
Before the tourney shall commence, it is hereby proclaimed that King Arthur of Camelot and King Marhaus of Mercia will engage in friendly combat.
When I strike the mortal blow at Arthur, that will be the signal for the attack.
Magnificent.
Thank you, my dear.
My lord.
Then who is that upon the field? You mean to say your oracles do not inform you? Well, Never mind. I'll tell you. It is a knight to whom I owe a boon. Let me, he said, wield your sword today. I could not refuse him. It being Lancelot.
Lancelot?
Lancelot, shall we discuss power now, Marhaus?
Where is the king? My Lord Arthur.
Lady Angela?
Please order Sir Lancelot to spare my brother.
Your brother is spared. What guarantee do we have of his future actions?
I will convince him of his error. He listens to me. We are very close. Please spare him, King Arthur.
Sir Lancelot.
You have King Arthur and your sister to thank, not me.
My lord. Ah, Lancelot.
Welcome back, Lancelot. This is a happy day.
My lady. Where is Lady Angela?
She went off to join her brother.
I must speak to her.
She's very devoted to Marhaus, you know.
Yes, that may present a problem.
A problem to Sir Lancelot of the Lake? Impossible.
Ah, but this involves a lady, my dear.
I'm sure Sir Lancelot will find a way. Will you not, Sir Knight?
I'll try, my lady.
Listen to my story, yes, listen while I sing of days of old in England when Arthur was the king, of Merlin the magician and Guinevere the queen, and Lancelot the bravest knight the world has ever seen. In days of old, when knights were bold, his story told of Lancelot. In days days of old, when knights were bold, this story's told of Lancelot.